Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Duncan McCollum coming to you live from the Santa Cruz Voice. And I'm very glad to be here today. It's a beautiful day to be alive in Santa Cruz and the rest of the world, I hope. Um, Today, I wanted to talk to you all about some things that are dear to my heart, and that's basically your health and your well-being, and give you some insights onto what may have come along and caused some troubles with you actually living the life of your dreams. I'm going to go over a few different things. Number one, I'm going to talk about John Delano or John D. Rockefeller and how he single-handedly sabotaged the healthcare of a nation and ultimately a world over 100 years ago, and how we are still suffering from that. I'm going to go through a little bit of the information in my book, A New Hope for Sciatica, that I wrote pre-pandemic, and it came out right when the pandemic hit. It was actually censored on Amazon because of a word in it called COVID, and it got censored the day it was supposed to be published. And I was publishing that book with about 33 other, 32, no, 33 other authors. Mine was the only one that didn't get published, and it was quite remarkable. I'd already published four historical fiction books and thought, I'd better write a health book. So, what better book to write for a chiropractor than about sciatica? But, in the beginning, I wanted to, talk about what happened to our health and, why we are where we are today. Then I'm also going to talk about, in just a minute, a miracle, the number of things that happen in 60 seconds inside the body, and what an incredible thing it is, our human body and our innate intelligence. So, I think I'll start with the forward to my book, then we'll listen to some information about Rockefeller, and then we'll go from there. So this was the two pages that got my book censored on Amazon. And finally, I had to take it out, and then it got put up, and then I snuck it back in with the way I wanted it to read. But this is it. It's called the A Note from the Author. And this is what I wrote as I was putting the final throes of this book together so that we could get it out with the other 32 other authors that had all been joining together to have the experience. It was a fun time. Here we go. As I sit in the process of writing this book, perhaps the biggest wake-up call in modern history has plagued our planet. Even as I sit and write these words, citizens of our country, and in fact the whole world, are quarantined or confined to their own homes. Entire cities and even countries have been shut down, and all non-essential businesses have been asked to temporarily close their doors. The deadly, and I parenthesize that, coronavirus has arrived, and with it, mass hysteria. The powers that be, governments, nations, our own CDC and FDA, let alone the World Health Organization, has been turned on its ear, or was it? This coronavirus, invisible to the naked eye, has proven the biggest terrorist of all. It is almost like our planet has been invaded from other outer space, and we are defenseless to the aliens' attack. People are scrambling for supplies. Things as common as toilet paper and paper towels are nowhere to be found. Shopping carts have been commandeered and slammed together as frantic citizens are vying for position, grabbing boatloads of supplies off the shelves of local grocery stores, often leaving nothing and showing no regard for their neighbors. Not since the last World War has the world realized such a threat to survival. And yet, perhaps out of the rubble and ruin of an inept and now defenseless world health care system will rise a new awareness in the minds of the peoples of Earth. For too many years, we have depended on Big Pharma to save the day with the next new miracle pill. Yet, with the invasion of Corona, we are defenseless, or are we? So, for many decades, this goes all the way back to 1910 when Rockefeller took over the medical industry. We'll be playing some of that. So, if you want to hear about it, stay tuned. Did you know that the wisest and most powerful physician who ever walked this planet lives right inside of you? It reminds me of the 1939 movie called The Wizard of Oz. For the entirety of the movie, Dorothy was searching for a way home. She evaded wicked witches, flying monkeys, fell victim to patches of wild, intoxicating poppies. When the whole time she had the power to find her own way home. As Glinda, the good witch from the north, would finally reveal, all she had to do was click her heels of her ruby slippers together and repeat, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home." Inside every one of us dwells an incredible innate intelligence. It has a purpose, and that purpose is to survive. And for eons, this innate intelligence has ensured that we survive. It wasn't until the advent of the massive pharmaceutical cartel who put profit above people, Rockefeller, that we started down this path of magic pill dependence. Don't get me wrong, I realize how much modern medicine has aided our own survival and our overcoming of hitherto overwhelming epidemics. But perhaps with this paradigm shift, it is time for the individual to take back the control of his or her own health. And through the pages of this book, as we discuss new and innovative ways for us to heal our own body, and in the volume specifically addressing the multi-therapeutic approach to sciatica, it is my goal and desire to help you not only address your sciatica, but to rise above the dependency for another, for another, for your amazing health potential, and take the reins and learn to guide your health, your life, where you can flourish and prosper while enjoying excellent health. So that was the author's note in my book. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this thing from the internet that is going to be very interesting. I'll be right back.
Pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler. Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum be taught. Any mention of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified by the media, removed from the AMA, and stripped of their license to teach and practice medicine. Those who dared to speak out were arrested and jailed. When evidence began to emerge that petroleum-based medicines were causing cancer, Mr. Rockefeller founded the American Cancer Society, through which he suppressed that information. John D. Rockefeller is duly credited as the founder of the pharmaceutical industry, and the reason that medical error is currently the third leading cause of death in America. This is not an indictment against doctors. More than anyone, they are under the stranglehold of the single largest lobbying power in Washington. Every year, the pharmaceutical industry spends at least twice the amount as big oil to influence laws, policies, and public perception. Thanks to Mr. Rockefeller, the architect of American monopolies, no industry has more power over our lives. Around the same time.
So that's very interesting, isn't it? Pretty interesting, this whole thing about Rockefeller. Okay, well, I hope you got a chance to listen to that about John D. Rockefeller and his stranglehold over us, and what he did to actually monopolize medicine. He used his power and his money, and he got all of the big powers, and he threatened schools, and he closed down over 180 colleges of homeopathy. And he basically outlawed anything except for his drug-based medicine. Now, how could somebody do that? Well, it was a lot of power, a lot of people in Congress. He had wiped out any competition in the oil companies, and he had a lot of power. And he was, able to buy anybody he needed to at that time in the early 1900s. And then when people ended up getting cancer, he created the American Cancer Society, never to cure anything, but to figure out how to best, um, make a profit off of it. So it's a pretty sad state of affairs. But, the American or the human spirit is so designed to live and so designed to actually overcome the greatest odds. And this is your innate intelligence. And, we really need to nourish our innate intelligence, nourish ourselves mentally, physically, and chemically. That's one reason I give out the bottles of vitamin G at my office, 100% gratitude, because we want you to be able to appreciate the good things. It puts serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin in your body. It helps decrease inflammation. It helps you be more likable. It regulates your hormone system better. So it's so important to be able to appreciate gratitude. And that is one of the things that we see in a world of a lot of hate right now. So just so you know, I have a comparison of overall curriculum structures for the chiropractic schools and medical schools, because for years, the Committee on Quackery, when they destroyed the doctors back in the 1900s, and then even in the 2000s, or 1900s, they came after chiropractic, and many of my predecessors were put in jail, and they'd get out of jail and put out their slate again. And this is in the 1920s and 30s. Finally, the Chiropractic Act made it legal for us to practice, but most people question our education. So I'm just going to read the comparison of the average medical school and the chiropractic school. This is the average hours, the percentage, and average percent of medical schools. So total contact hours for chiropractic is 48,026. Medical doctors, 46,067. So we have more hours in school than them. Basic scientists, chiropractic, basic sciences, 1,420 hours, 1,400 versus medical doctor, 1,200 hours. Clinical science hours, 3,406 for chiropractors, 3,467 for medical schools, just a bit more. Chiropractic sciences, of course, 1975, medical schools, 0. So what's that mean? The understanding that the spine and the 31 spinal nerves that come out of your body control every cell, organ, and tissue in your body. And a free functioning nervous system is what your body needs, communication to and from, in order to stay healthy. Medical doctors got nothing in that. Clerkship, 1,405 hours, medical doctors, 3,467 hours. Okay, now here we go on chiropractic versus medical subjects. Anatomy, chiropractors, 540 hours. Medical doctors, 508 hours. Physiology, chiropractic, 240 hours. Medical doctors, 326 hours. Pathology, geriatrics and pediatrics, chiropractic, 360 hours. Medical doctors, 401 hours. Chemistry, chiropractors, 165 hours. Medical doctors, 325 hours. Microbiology, 120 for chiropractic, 114 for medical doctors. Diagnosis, dermatology, ear, nose, throat, chiropractors, 630 hours. Medical doctors, 324 hours. Neurology, 320 hours for chiropractors, 112 for medical doctors. Why neurology? Because all we do is deal with the nerves and the ability of the system to work back and forth. The brain, the nervous system, 31 spinal nerves, 13 cranial nerves going to 75 trillion cells. Radiology, 360 hours. Medical doctors, 148. Most chiropractors take x-rays in their office. I do. I x-ray all patients because I'm not interested in just relieving your symptoms. I want to know how to help you be and stay healthy for the rest of your life. All right. Psychology and psychiatry, 60 hours for us, 144 for medical doctors. Um, Obstetrics and geriatrics, or gynecology, I mean, 60 for medical chiropractors, 124 for medical doctors. Orthopedics, this is your regular medical doctor versus chiropractor. 310 hours of orthopedics for chiropractic, 156 hours for medical doctors. All right, so this is our curriculum. And we had 3,065 hours versus 2,706 hours versus the medical doctor. So, chiropractic is we're pretty well-rounded on how the body works. And then when you've been in practice like me, I've been in practice 35 years. My Dr. Gringeri with me 35 years. The other Dr. McLeod with me 15 years. So we have almost 100 years of experience amongst us. That's pretty good. So we know we know, have a pretty good idea what we can help and can't help. So I'm going to read a little bit more out of my book, and um, There Comes a New Dawn. Why can't I get my pain to go away? So once I get done reading this, I'm going to read something about your body, and it's the miracle that it is. And this says, my dear friend, if you're reading this book, you have already spent many hours, weeks, months, or years struggling with the unrelenting pain of sciatica, or in your case, it could be any other kind of chronic condition. Perhaps you have had bouts of it, or even lower back pain, or a hint of leg pain, numbness, tingling, and again, on the other symptoms. The scary thing is that maybe you feel that it is getting worse. So if you feel like it's getting worse, it may be. You cannot medicate your way out of a chronic illness. This we know for sure. More drugs are not going to help get you out of a chronic inflammatory condition. It's likely that you've been flat on your back and in so much pain, but nothing helps. And you're wondering about the best way to end it all. And I've been there. At 28 years old, I was considering this because of the pain I'd suffered my whole life and the amount of medications and drugs I became addicted to and alcohol to try to get over it. And thank God something saved me. Another story, another day. But I've been there myself and I do understand. Whatever the reason for your interest, I hope you find the answer you're looking for. If you are at a point where you know that in order to heal your body so that you can enjoy your life again, you need to change something, then this book is ready for you to read. This is called New Hope for Sciatica. My other book, Turn Back Your Biological Clock, both on Amazon. Either one of them will give you more data than you can imagine on how to be and stay healthy. Maybe you've discovered that all the different pain meds, injections, nerve burning, physical therapy, and even surgeries that might have worked for others have failed for you. I understand how it could be hard to imagine that the content on this page in this book could be of help to you. Please be encouraged because after 30 years in practice and having suffered from breaking my own back over 50 years ago, I have personally tried everything short of surgery. As a result, I've become a pretty good judge of what I can and can't be done to help. Don't give up. There is one limiting factor here, and that is up to you. You have to not want the pain you have to not want just the pain to go away, but you must demand it to go away. If you are ready for this, then read on. There is hope. And by getting through the pages of this book, I know you can be helped. In this book, you will discover exactly what you need to handle your pain, but also to actually understand that in order to truly get well, you have to eliminate the multitude of issues culminating in your life's health condition. Now, I'm saying about this book, but you can call my office. We always do complimentary consultations. I'm in Capitola. 831-320, oh no, 831-459-9990. McCollum, or go to McCollumWellness.com. That's my website, one of them, McCollumWellness.com. 831-459-9990. Say you heard me on the Santa Cruz Voice and that you would like to see if I can help you, and I'd be more than happy to see if I can myself. We love helping people. We had a meeting today with my staff, and it's so amazing to hear the stories going around of people that we've helped this last week. So I do understand that right now you just want relief. A lot of times that's all people come in for. Just give me some relief. I can't stand it anymore. Having suffered for too many years myself, I know what it is like to live a life of quiet desperation, hoping and praying that the pain goes away. You are about to find answers to questions like, where did my symptoms come from? Why haven't I been able to be helped? Will I ever be able to end the pain? How long will my doctor keep me on the pain management? Am I becoming addicted to pain meds and drugs and alcohol? Am I damaging my organs by taking these drugs? Will I ever get well? Do I need surgery? What about my future? Will I ever enjoy my life again? God, that's terrible. What, if anything, can be done about it? Be encouraged. There is a new hope on the horizon. Your pain relief just got a new friend, and your future looks bright. There are new techniques out there, and I got to tell you, I've come up with amazing technologies. We have the soft wave therapy machine, we have the piezo electromagnetic frequency machine, we have lasers, just huge lasers that are amazing at increasing the energy in the body. Vibration plates, chiropractor, two amazing chiropractors, and the technicians there are great with the soft wave and lasers. And my front desk, you love it. You'll love our office. We have a great office. Um, there are some new technologies out there, little known by traditional medicine or even by the alternative health care community. In all types of businesses, people oftentimes put out their shingle or open their restaurant and they never grow. They just do what they were taught then. I am constantly learning every week with a group of about 30 to 40 doctors. Every Tuesday from 10 to 11, we spend, that time talking about new technologies and special cases. And Dr. Dan Pompa brings us some of the top leaders in the world on all these very cool modalities. I'm just bought another one. We'll have it in 3 to 4 weeks called Hydrowave. I'm excited to know about it because it can also help rebuild tissue, increase stem cell production, and reduce your pain. By getting an understanding of what is wrong and getting a grip on what things are causing your chronic pain and inflammation, you will be empowered to take your life back. Right now, it is important for you to make this decision, and the decision is, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. It's time to make a stand. If you do, there is hope and you can be helped. So, so much. There's a gentleman I listened to. I can't remember his name right now, but he came in on one of those talks that I just mentioned with a group of several doctors, and he had a similar history to me. Dyslexic, couldn't read at a young age, had all kinds of addictions like I did because of my pain from breaking my back. We all have our own story, family, deaths, brothers, mothers, all that. We all got it. But it's how you move through it that really matters. And this guy said one thing before he started talking to us, and he said, you know what? Before I can teach you anything, you need to forget what you know. The first barrier to study is to think you already know it. So forgetting what you know means you might have opinions. You start to hear something and you shut your mind down. And it's the worst poison there is because your body and it's got incredible ability to heal. Sometimes people say, well, how do you know it's going to get better? I go, well, I don't. But I'll tell you one thing, your body has this innate intelligence in it. The greatest physician who ever lives right inside of you. And that is what's going to get going. But you need to help it. You need to have a positive mental attitude. You need to get bottles of vitamin G. 100% gratitude. You can pick them up at my office and we'll give them to you. I had one teacher from a local school call up and say, I need 50 for every teacher in my class in my school. We got them. We gave them 50. You can get them too for people you know that need it. Gratitude. It's a great, great message. And, I'm more than happy to give it out. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about another thing I mentioned, and it's an article by Bijie T. Kurian, and it comes from out of CJAM and December 7th, 2004, and it is called Just a Minute: Incredible Numbers at Play in the Macro and Micro Universe. So in the macro, he talks about the planets and such. So here we go. He says, so much happens in 1 minute at both the macro level, the universe, and the micro level within the human body. In 1 minute, Earth weighing about 6 sextillion metric tons, rev, um, travels about 17,000 kilometers per minute in its orbit around the sun. Photons of light from the sun blaze about 18 million kilometers through space. That's that's the macro. Now let's look at the micro. This is what's amazing to me. In this minute, 1 minute, an average human heart contracts about 75 times, pumping 4 to 5 liters of blood through vessels ranging in thickness from a thumb to a forefinger to the width of a single hair. A colorful menagerie of about 35,000 billion red blood cells, 50 billion white blood cells, and 1,500 billion platelets salubriously swathed in ultra-rich liquid nutrients travels through about 40 million individual arteries and vessels and capillaries. 40 million individual arteries, veins, or capillaries for a combined distance of about 96,000 kilometers to reach the nethermost points of the body's multiple times. During each visit, a red blood cell carries about 100 million oxygen molecules strapped onto about 25 million hemoglobin molecules in a collective effort to supply tissue with the oxygen needed for metabolism. A sturdy cocktail of a couple trillion antibody molecules completes its highly technical and successful surveillance of the entire system, tumbling along in the cellular constituents. Tragically, this 1 minute also sees the death of about 300 million cells. Fortunately, replacements arrive even as the cells die. So, cell death, there's programmed cell death, where every cell in our body is supposed to live for a certain amount of time and then die as programmed. And it's called I can't say it, apoptosis. Apoptosis is the programmed cell death. A life has you're just like you go to school for 12 years. A cell lives a certain amount of time, then it's supposed to die, be reconstituted into new cells, or burned for fuel and or broken down for the elements that are needed for survival. And then there's another part, it's called autophagy. So you have apoptosis, which is programmed cell death. Then you have you have autophagy, self-eating, where the body has scavengers that go around and break down weak, senescent, which means senile and old cells, and other debris that collects in the body from cellular combustion. In other words, as the cells are making energy, it creates bad exhaust, just like a car. So these zombie cells or senescent cells are there causing trouble, gumming up the works, breeding more bad cells. It's like you have a bowl of apples. What apple starts to rot, the rest come along unless you get that apple out of there. So your body has the ability to get those apples out of there. It's called apoptosis, and that's what it does. So as we lose 300 million cells a minute, we also recreate 300 cells a minute. So there's a balance there. Now, also, when you look at cancer cells, those have to be broken down as well. When we get aberrant or wrongful growth cells, then the body, a healthy body, is going to go break those down through autophagy and not allow them to spread. An unhealthy body doesn't have the power or strength to do that, and they are overcome by these bad cells, and then bad things happen. So I just got off of I did a 24-hour fast Saturday, and I'm doing one today as well. So, and it's not that bad to do, but when you don't eat for 24 hours or more, then your body's going to look for fuel and it breaks down your weak and dying cells. It's called autophagy. Breaks down those senescent cells, looks for gunked up things in the brain and around the body and in the organs, and it eats it because it needs to clean it up. And it also needs fuel. So this is another interesting thing now. We're done talking about what happens in 1 minute, but you have these things called genes, right? And you got these pairs of genes, you get one from each parent, right? Or one set. And these specific gene segments from an impressive array of about 25,000 protein coding genes. So you have 25, just think about Legos. You got 25,000 Legos that you can put together any way you want. Well, when you have genes, they're coded, and your body makes these pairs out of those 25,000 proteins. They make 3 billion base pairs because they can combine in so many different ways. So you have 3 billion base pairs of genes in your body, and they're carrying out the processes of replication, transcription, and translation within the body. So, in other words, they're creating whatever needs to be, whatever the recipe is of those genes. It's just like cooking dinner. Each of those genes has a different recipe, and there's 75 trillion of them in our body. With the exception of the mature red blood cells, it doesn't have any of this. The DNA from each of these cells, 75 trillion cells, if stretched end to end, measure about 6 feet in length. During this minute, about 60 million chemical reactions take place in just the ribosomes alone, which are a tiny part of the cell, and you have many, many of them, assembling in the thousands around the endoplasmic reticulum, which is this kind of web or maze inside the cells, and leading to the synthesis of about 120,000 protein molecules. So that's a lot, but that's what's going on in your body. And in 1910, Rockefeller decided that none of it worked and that everything had to be healed with a drug. And even though we've survived for eons on this planet, thousands and thousands of years, that our bodies didn't know what to do, and we were black, and natural health was blackballed, and everything had to come out of a bottle. And look where it's got us. 113 years later, finally, we have somebody there in power, Bobby Kennedy Jr. You may like him or not like him, depending on how you've listened to the biased press. This guy is changing our future for our children and grandchildren. He's got eight of the petroleum-based food dyes that are cancer causing being taken out of our food, out of our Cheerios and Fruit Loops and Lucky Stars or whatever, their Lucky Charm cereal, let alone all of the other poisons and toxins put into our food, the additives and fillers that are in our processed food. So this innate ability to heal is so remarkable, and we've polluted it and we've dumbed it down and we've done everything that we can to kill it with this whole development of pharmaceutical drugs, and it hasn't barely cured anybody of anything. We spent 4.7 trillion dollars on medicine last year. It was 4.3 trillion dollars the year before. Now, Western medicine saved my life. I had a ruptured appendix a few years ago, and I would have died if it wasn't for emergency medicine. So there's that is a good thing. But covering up the symptoms, 70% of all money spent goes to cover up symptoms. That's almost $4 trillion being spent to cover up symptoms. How long do you have to be on that medication? Until you die. because it's not going to cure you of anything. Look at the people with diabetes, thyroid disorder, um, you know, stomach acid problems, uh, all these different things, and they're more and more and more on the market advertised to you on TV. Two out of three TV commercials is drug commercial, and they're all there as you are being dumbed down by TV, telling you to tell your doctor what your health concerns are. Tell your doctor you have a liver problem. Tell your doctor if you're allergic to the pill they're trying to sell you. It's, and then they go on a list of side effects a mile long. It's 5 seconds of pushing the drug and 55 seconds of telling you the side effects. We got to get smart. Got to wake up and get smart. Your health is your choice. And that is so important to understand. But you don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You can go to my website's just been redone. It's mccollumwellness.com. I have many of these shows are on there. I've got over 100 shows. You can watch them because my YouTube channel is there. I actually have a 7 week reset that you can do where you can actually go through learning how to fast, all kinds of material, recipes, videos on each week, what you need to do. Some people do it in 7 weeks, some do it in 10, but you can take your health into your own hands. There's a 30-day health reset on there that you can always also do. Maybe start with a 30-day. There's a 6-month cellular healing detox program, which is the Dr. Dan Pompa program that I've been helping. I've been part of this for the last 10 years, along with those 30 to 40 other doctors, trying different scenarios, finding out what works and what doesn't work. How do we get the heavy metals out of our brain? What is going to make us have a symptom or a Hertz reaction because we are detoxing too fast? What is the safest way to go? So these are the things that we do and we know. So at any rate, my name is Dr. Duncan McCollum. This is Your Body, Your Health, Your Choice, Santa Cruz Voice. I'm really happy to be part of it. If you know anybody that needs help, we're doing a lot with peripheral neuropathy now. Anybody that's got numbness, tingling in their feet, they got wadded up socks, feeling, saran wrap, can't walk, can't balance. There are answers. These people need to come into my office. We need to talk to them and see what we can do to help them. So I would really love it if you would help us find these people that need to come in and help and be seen. I'm going to go on a little bit more about this 1 minute article by Baji Kareen in CJAM magazine, December 7th, 2004, if you want to look for it. It's called Just a Minute, Incredible Numbers at Play at the Macro and Micro Level. So we're talking about the lungs now. Air sweeps in and out of the 370 million or so alveoli present in the lungs. The alveoli are the little things that capture air and transfer it into the bloodstream. When you have bad blood go into the lung, the CO2 is taken out of it and then O2 is put back in. So blue blood becomes red to continue its circulation around the body and give oxygen to all the cells. It also picks up all the nutrients from the digestive system, the amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, neurotransmitters, hormones that are created to float around your bloodstream to help you live the life you should. So these alveoli, the air sweeps over the 370 million alveoli with the combined interior area of 80 meters squared. So it's about the size of a football field, the inside of your lungs spread out with all the alveoli. It's about the size of a football field. Each time air rushes in, it passes over the olfactory epithelium, your nose, located at the roof of your mouth, in your nostrils, and it's innervated with about 10 million olfactory or smell sensors, receptors. Meanwhile, a substantial portion of the 100 million strong neurons in the brain have orchestrated everything. So all of that I've talked about, everything that we've talked about today, we have that 100 million strong neurons in the brain that are orchestrating everything, coordinating all movement and thoughts by communicating one with another and with other parts of the body, using a significant portion of the 100 trillion synapses found in the entire brain. The fact that all this happens in 1 minute is nothing short of a miracle. The earth moved around without any commotion. The human body works far too quickly for all of the complexities inherent within it. The numbers at play are baffling the mind. So I hope this has been at least interesting for you. I like to get on here and give you guys some hope, some understanding about what's going on in the world and what's going on with your health. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this thing again with Rockefeller for you to listen to one more time, and I'll be right back.
But John D. Rockefeller seized U.S. media. He also hijacked U.S. medicine. When it was discovered that drugs could be produced from petroleum, America's top oil mogul ordered his army of propagandists to invert reality accordingly. Medicines used for thousands of years were suddenly classified as alternative, while the new, petroleum-based, highly addictive, and patentable drugs were declared the gold standard. After buying a German pharmaceutical company that manufactured chemicals of war for Adolf Hitler, Rockefeller leveraged his political influence by pressing Congress to declare natural healing modalities unscientific quackery. Rockefeller then took control of the American Medical Association and began offering massive grants to top medical schools under the mandate that only his approved curriculum be taught. Any mention of the healing powers of herbs, plants, and diet was erased from most medical textbooks. Doctors and professors who objected to Rockefeller's plan were crucified by the media, removed from the AMA, and stripped of their license to teach and practice medicine. Those who dared to speak out were arrested and jailed. When evidence began to emerge that petroleum-based medicines were causing cancer, Mr. Rockefeller founded the American Cancer Society, through which he suppressed that information. John D. Rockefeller is duly credited as the founder of the pharmaceutical industry, and the reason that medical error is currently the third leading cause of death in America. This is not an indictment against doctors. More than anyone, they are under the stranglehold of the single largest lobbying power in Washington. Every year, the pharmaceutical industry spends at least twice the amount as big oil to influence laws, policies, and public perception. Thanks to Mr. Rockefeller, the architect of American monopolies, no industry has more power over our lives.
Okay, so that's John D. Rockefeller, what you need to know about him. So John D. Rockefeller, boy, did he change our lives for generations. 1910, right around that time is when he wiped out every single alternative health school in the world or the United States. I believe there was 185 homeopathic schools that got wiped out. There might have been a lot more. And all of the lore that passed down, family to family to family, tribe to tribe to tribe, and peoples to peoples to peoples on how to be and stay well and how to handle all of these different types of problems that came up health-wise were gone. So, we are trying to get it back. We're wiping out. We're trying to, and Bobby Kennedy Jr. is at the helm of getting the corruption out of our Western medicine. Medical is the biggest, pharmaceuticals is the biggest lobbyist there are in Washington. The FDA had on their board, I think at one point, 90% of the people, don't quote me exactly, on the board had ties with the companies that they were approving or disapproving for sale. So in other words, you get my product in, since you're a stockholder, you're gonna make a lot of money. And if it worked, we'd be the healthiest country in the world, but we are the sickest country in the industrialized world. So that should tell you something. Sorry. So this is Dr. Duncan McCollum, McCollum Family Chiropractic in Capitola. We have an amazing crew at my office. We're just trying to help people as much as we can. Sometimes people come in and, they aren't right for our office or we're not right for them. And that becomes pretty apparent. But, you know, if it's to be, it's up to me is basically what it comes down to. No insurance is going to take care of your health. They're not designed to. All they're supposed to do is cover up your symptoms. In fact, things like Medicare, if it does cover chiropractic, it only covers getting you out of pain. No insurance takes you from symptom free to optimum health. I've had maybe a couple people in 35 years, and I've seen over 20,000 people in my office in those years. Just a handful at most come in and say, "Hey, I'm really healthy. I want to be healthier." I think it's two. And that's because everybody's too busy. And the other thing is, don't worry about your health. It will go away. So when it's starting to go away, that's when I hear about people. People find their way into my office. At any rate, I hope this has been helpful. You can go to McCollum Wellness Radio. Um, you can go to that's a McCollum Wellness Radio is my podcast. If you like podcasts, McCollumWellness.com website to see what we have to offer. We have a lot of things, different courses you can take, a lot of videos on there. You can come to my office in Capitola, McCollum Family Chiropractic in Brown Ranch there by FedEx in the nail place. Um, let's see. There's so many ways that you can get help. You can go to TikTok. Find me on TikTok. We're getting about 1,000+ hits on the videos that we have going out on health and health. You can go to Dr. Duncan McCollum Facebook. You can go Dr. Duncan McCollum YouTube, Dr. Duncan McCollum AI, whatever it is. Um, all of those things. I'm 69 years old. I don't understand all this AI stuff and, in internet things. Thank God I have an amazing staff that cares and is passionate about what we do. And so if I don't get it right, excuse me, but you can always go to mccollumwellness.com and or call my office 831-459-9990 and go, "Hey, how do we get a hold of this bloke? How do I come in and do a consultation with him?" Um, and then, sometimes they will just have me get on the phone with you if they're not sure by a phone call whether I can help you. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. I hope you don't wait till I can't. It's much more fun to help people get their lives back, especially with peripheral neuropathy. And we treat all kinds of different types of physical conditions, but treating people for, the loss of mobility and the fear of going out, fear of knowing if your foot's on the gas pedal or brake. Don't wait till it gets too bad. It's harder to fix. We fix some amazingly terrible things, but you don't want to wait that long. It costs more and takes longer. We all have learned that lesson enough times. So, let's see what, again, I'm just going to go over you can find that information on Rockefeller online if you just Googled Rockefeller and pharmacology. You'll find him. You'll find where he wiped out the health of a country, of a world for over a century. It's been a century. It's terrible. It's just ridiculous that one guy's greed can cause this much. Has Western medicine done good things? Of course it has. Has it saved lives? Of course it has. But the fact that we take 50 to 70% of all the pharmaceutical drugs sold in the world, and we're only 4% of the population, and we're still sick, tells us that their design worked. It's working exactly the way they wanted to. So if you want to get out of this mold, if you want to take a path less traveled, like listening to Robert Frost, two paths diverged in the woods, and I took the one less traveled by, and it made all the difference. So make all the difference, make a decision. It's up to you, nobody else. It's not up to your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, significant other, mother, father, teacher. It's up to you. You're the only one that can get you healthy. And until you make that decision, nothing can be done about it. But once you decide, everything can be done about it. The body is amazing. Your innate intelligence is amazing. I see it every day in my office. People coming out that came in so much pain or just feeling like their life was over. They start to crack a smile on their face and they do better and better and better. So, um, this is my show for today. And I'm going to play the same thing I played going in, which is a song by my dear friend Steve Funderburg, sung by Tony Lindsay, 12 or 13 time Grammy Award winner. And I hope that this has been helpful. I hope it helps. Um, Please come see me, 831-459-9990. If you have any health concerns, especially the physical ones, they're the easier ones. If you got toxicity ones, go to my website, mccollumwellness.com. There's a lot of information and help to be had. You can always go online to Amazon and buy one of my two books, um, New Hope for Sciatica, if it's more physical, turn back your biological clock if it's more fatigue, energy, things like that. So I love being here at the Santa Cruz Voice. It's a real fun little spot. And I look forward to speaking with you again next week. I'm going to have some great guests on. I'm going to have a wounded warrior from the Veterans Purple Heart Association on in a few weeks. This is going to be great because these guys have the suicide rate amongst them is terrible, and they're going to talk about something that they're doing that is saving thousands of lives. And it's very simple. It's not a drug, but it's actually giving them hope. And I also will be interviewing Fred Shaw, the head of A Drug-Free World, and talking about what we can do to get our kids off drugs, our adults off drugs, give you the real truth about where all this came from. It seems like it's the same source, the same people that want you sick. Okay, so I guess I don't have time for the music. Bye. All right, and I'm off here too.